Hello everybody, welcome to Ubrink Studio. Here we are once again. At the moment you're looking at a blank table for some strange reason, but you won't be for much longer. Today I'm going to show you how to use pre-cut fabrics, which are these little beauties. If I ever get this right, I think it'll be a miracle. There we go. So these are from Lewis and Irene. And this is a pre-cut 10-inch square, and we're also going to be using these which are called Fabulous 40s, and I'm going to show you what they look like when they're opened. And we're going to make a cushion front, or even a cushion, you never know yet. So I have opened one of these and already selected the fabric that I'm going to use. So just bring this down to there and move it around a bit so that you can actually see. Okay, so these lovely pre-cut 10-inch squares, which are called scrumptious squares, have got lots and lots of different fabrics in. I particularly like this one because it's got fairy, so I'm going to use this one for my cushion at the moment. But as you can see, there's lots and lots of different colours, lots of different blenders in there. Oh, look at that, so lovely. Lots of different types of things that will all actually go together if you wanted to use this to make a big quilt or something like that. So look at that, beautiful, beautiful fabrics. I really love these fabrics. And just in case you're wondering, yes, they are in my shop, which is quite nice. I'm just adjust that a little bit because you seem to be looking at the top of my head. Okay, so this is a pre-cut that we've opened, and then this particular one here as well, I've opened one of these which we're going to use to go around the edges of this. And when you open these, in case anybody hasn't seen one of these opened, you get all these lovely fabrics, and these are cut to 2.5 inches. Okay, and this is what I make my peg bags and a few of the other cushions that I make too. So I just wanted to show you how they look. I've used Lewis and Irene fabrics for a long time now because I think they're a really good quality. I love them, love them. So to get going, we haven't got a lot of cutting to do. But what we do need to do is match our edges. And I quite like this pink because it picks up the pink that's in here. I'm not sure how well you can actually see that. See if we can get it to... Come on camera, play the game. It's going up instead of down. I don't know why. There we go. So this pink matches this pink here, which I quite like. And what I'm going to do is cut this into 4, and hopefully that's going to work. But I have got another one of these pinks in this roll that I've unrolled, which is that one. So I have got 2 just in case I need it. Okay, we know this is a 10-inch square, and I just need to decide how many inches I want to come out either side to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm probably going to do it 2 inches either side. So I'm going to start by measuring this top and then bring it out the same width as my 2.5 inches that I have here. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is sew that on there. Now, just a quick word about sewing and your sewing machines. Whenever starting a new project, always make sure that you put a new needle in. And I use these Schmetz needles. I think they're the best. I wouldn't like to put any other needle in my sewing machine, but I actually buy them in their hundreds because I do get through an awful lot of needles. A heck of a lot, especially when I'm stitching into bark and grass and other things like that, when I'm doing some of my, shall we say, more artistic things instead of the basics. I have got my machine set on for straight stitch, and I have got my stitch set on 3. So it's just a straight stitch. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is cut my first strip ready to sew on here, and I am remembering that each of these has a selvage and we don't want that as part of it. Okay, so I'm going to take that with a rotary cutter. Doesn't matter what make you have got. What you do need to remember is they are really, really sharp and they can be lethal. You do get, come on, I nearly said measuring stick then, which is a bit stupid, isn't it? You do get rulers with them as well, but because I'm only cutting small parts here, I'm not going to use a ruler to cut this. Okay, so I just bring that up there a little bit so you can actually see, which is quite novel, what I'm doing. There you go. Okay, so I don't like this cutting mat. I don't know why I chose that side. I've got my 10.5 inch square here, 10-inch square here, sorry, which is there, and I am going to come out. I'm going to take that selvage off first. Because I don't need that. That one needs a new blade on it. Remembering that you're sewing 1/4 inch, so we only need to go 2.5 inches over. I am going to go 3, just to make sure. 4. Come that way a bit more, Anita, you can see what you're doing. So if you haven't used these cutting mats before, each of these squares is 1 inch. So I've got my 10 inches there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just in case I've cut it wrong. I then want to have 2 inches either side, but I'm actually going to take it 3, which will give me a 1/2 inch extra if I want it, just in case I have any problems. And then all you do is cut it. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see me sewing this. Now, as you know, I don't pin, so please don't expect lots of pins because you're not going to see them. Okay, so sewing machine is here. Oh, let's move that camera there. Let's bring this one in here so you can see what I'm doing. So I want that. Get that on there again. Sorry, I just need to remeasure this because I think I've measured it wrong, which is a good start, isn't it? Just talk amongst yourselves while I just sort this out. Okay, so I've got my normal foot on, just clear cotton. I'm going to move my foot over to 1/4 inch seam allowance. With this particular machine, it's very easy to do that because on this foot there are markers telling me where my 1/4 inch is. Okay, and so remember to put your feed dogs back up, Anita. So that's our first piece on. you can see. And I'm just going to use my hands to press that open. And I want it so that this is coming up, the seam is coming up towards, can you see that? Upwards towards the piece that I have just put on. Okay. So that's that one in. Now we're going to get another piece, and this is where I need to cheat a lot, which I am going to stitch from the top all the way down. Okay, so from this edge here, pop that edge on and just stitch it straight down. Again, 1/4 inch. So we now have that, okay, and we want the same of them both the other sides, so I'm just going to quickly cut that piece off and whiz across the other bit. It doesn't want to cut off. Hello, I need you to cut off. Scissors are not very sharp, in fact they're rubbish. Just talk amongst yourselves while I just sort this out. Okay. I can see that we have got people watching. It would be quite nice if somebody chatted to me. Even if it's just to say a quick hello. Be nice. So I'm not going to take that one off yet, because what I forgot to do, and made the biggest rookie mistake, was I forgot to do the same across the bottom as I did across the top. So true to form, Anita's cheating. And we'll just do that now. So I've undone that bit, and I'm going to go across here. Quarter of an inch. Good evening, Angie. Thank you for watching. Okay, so press that the same as I did before. It's easier to do it on the table than it is doing it on the sewing machine. And then stitch that right the way down to the bottom. Of there. So now we have this. And that end, and then we've got this coming that way. And then we're just going to do the same down the other side. I don't think I'm showing you very well on this camera for some reason tonight. turn this camera around, you can see, I think a little bit better. So I've got this long piece here coming down here, which I'm now going to cut off. And I'm going to cut it off a little bit further than I need to. Okay, and what we're now going to do is come across here like this. Now you might be thinking, the quilters amongst you will be thinking, Anita, what on earth are you doing wasting that? This won't be wasted, this square. I will use it for something else, but I always like to leave a little bit extra just in case. Angie says, it's taken me the last 5 minutes to work out how to chat. I missed the beginning. What are you making? I'm making a cushion. I'm using, just in case anyone else has missed it, I'm using, oh goodness me, Irene and Lewis pre-cuts. These are called Sumptuous Squares. It's a 10-inch square. And I'm using Fabulous 40s roll, which is called because there are 42.5-inch strips in one of these rolls. Okay. So at the moment, I'm just sewing it down. Hello, Sandra. Lovely to see you. So that's what we're making, Sandra and Angie. So now I'm going to just sew straight down here. Okay. So that piece is now going to go on there and we're going to sew straight down. So I'll just turn you around again. My son informed me today that I needed more than one camera, which is brilliant in the grand scheme of things. The problem is I have enough problems managing these cameras, let alone any more, so I don't think it would be a very good idea unless he's planning to come in here and help me. Right, so let's just stitch straight down there, making sure that that is turned towards the border that we're putting on. What you don't want is for this to stretch in any shape, way or form, so please don't push this as you're going under the machine, and equally don't pull it. Let your machine take it as it wants to. Bring you back round to the table. Adjust that a little bit. So what we now have is our pre-cut square with a border on it. It's very simple, easy for beginners to do. Get that thread out of there. Okay, and now I'm going to trim it, because now I've got all my stitching in place. I'm happy to do that. If you don't feel confident enough to do this just using your rotary cutter, which mine seems to have moved for some reason, I'm not sure what's going on here. Hang on a minute. It's come loose. I'm just going to screw that back on. A bit dangerous. Give up on that one. Not quite sure what's going on with that. All rotary cutters have a protector for the blades. Make sure when you're not using it that the protection is on. Just take that off. Just a bit of selvage there. Okay. So now we have got a cushion front, and this pattern has a right and a wrong way. Okay, so I'm now going to be working out to put the zip in, and what I need to make sure is, that was me, not Sandra, sorry Angie, you're coming through twice actually. So I need to make sure that I like to put the zips in cushions, and my zip's going in the bottom of this, not in the top. Okay, so what we're now going to do is work out the centre of this, ready to put the zip in. And the simplest way to do that is to fold it. Fold your centre and mark it. Okay, you can mark it with a pencil if you want, or you could just give it a little nick. Not too much, because you've got to get a zip in there. Okay, I usually just fold it and press it with my fingers. Okay, and now I have got this little nick so that I know where the centre is. And then you get your zip, whichever zip colour you're going to use. And I do exactly the same thing. I fold my zip in half to find the centre. Once I've got the centre, I mark it. Now I know when I go to sew this up that that zip is going to go on there. Okay, but what I now need is a backing fabric, and you can do that in two ways. Either cut yourself a new piece of fabric or make yourself another back to match the front. Now these are such beautiful fabrics, I wouldn't want to do that. So if you bear with me for a minute, I'm just going to go and grab a piece of fabric to use on the back. Which was bad planning of me, because I forgot all about the back and decided at the very last minute that I was going to do it. Which is not very good, is it? So I think I will just get some purple. Back again. Some nice purple fabric here. And my cushion at the moment is measuring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12, 13, 14 inches. So I now need to cut this backing, which is another beautiful fabric, big enough to cover the back. And the easiest way to do that is to use one of these squares. So we know that's going to fit in there, and we can cut this down easily enough. So this system, open up the fabric, the magic system, put the square on, you magically, there we go, get your square level with the edges of the fabric. Why won't that go down? Thank you. So we're now going to cut round it. I'm going to move that along a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm coming along here and down. Okay, and then bringing you back, I'm not moving the square, I'm moving the whole mat. Just coming along there. Could do with a new blade in this one, but that has cut it. So there is my square now cut. I need to watching you from my hospital bed. Hello, Maddie. How do it looks like? Can't wait till I go back and get one of it. I can't wait till I go back. Oh, well, I hope you get out soon, Maddie. That's the last thing you need, is to be stuck in there, isn't it? Okay, so as you can see, I have cut my square a little bit bigger than it needs to be. And I haven't trimmed that off for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because I haven't been the best organised today. Come on, get off. Right, so I'm going to trim this down to the size I need. So I'm just measuring this up against this edge, and I am literally going to whiz up it. And take that off. Remember, these offcuts you keep. Okay. I'm then going to do the same here. And then if you find that you have got an edge that isn't level, you can level it off. Now I am going to sew in the bottom where the zip's going to go by about 2 inches. But remember, you do have to check that you've got your fabric the right way up. So just a little quick check to make sure that this is the bottom, because this is where the fairies are going to go. This is the bottom, because this is where the fairies are going. Okay, so let's turn you around so you can see the sewing machine, hopefully. Get it out of the way. Right. I'm just going to pin where my zip comes to. So I've got a pin, there's the zip, and there's a pin either end, so I know where to sew to. I'm just checking that once more, just to make sure. So you have seen me using pins, please don't tell anybody. It's one of the best kept secrets. Now this time I want to come in a 1/2 inch to allow for the zip. And I am just coming up to where the pin is. Don't sew over your pins. Many people do. It's not good for your needles, it's not good for your machine. There we go. So we've now got a front and a back joined. Oh, where is this camera? Okay, and a gap where we just need to put the zip in. And to put your zip in, open up, where is that? Open up your seam like so. Place your zip starting where the gap is. And sew across. Now you might be thinking, why hasn't she put the zip foot on? You don't need to with every machine. It all depends on what machine you have got. And with this machine, I don't need to. I know that this foot will go over that easily enough. Go slowly at first. As you've come across, I actually need to come across one more stitch. There we go. Turn it around. So the zip's here. Fold it over. You can press this if you feel happier pressing it, and stitch. And I have got the edge of this foot. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to try and bring this in. There we go. So the edge of the zip is here, the middle of the zip, and the edge of the foot is running on that. Go slow, don't pull it, don't let it stretch. Open up the other end. You're welcome, Maddie. I'd like to see you up and about again. If you feel more confident in pinning this, do pin it in place. When you get to the other end and your zip is in the way, lift your foot up and take your zip forward. Then carry on stitching along till you get to where you need to finish. And then you're going to come across, so turn that round. Make sure that before you start sewing, you've got everything lined up underneath. And I can tell those of you that are out there that my mother would be spinning in her grave if she saw me showing you how to put a zip in like this, because she'll say it's all wrong. However, Mum, this is the way I do it. I don't normally have any trouble. Get that in there. Because that is going to go on there. Coming across. Make sure that's closed enough. Swizzle it round and then come down the other side. You should be able to just fold that under without any trouble at all. I think that moved when I didn't want it to, but never mind. Move your zip up past your zip. Oh, that's definitely moved. I've done the one thing I told you not to do, and that's let that stretch. Can you see how I've stretched this? Which is my fault, so I'm now going to take that out and undo it, because I've pulled it somewhere along the line. The question is, where did I pull it? Right up the top it would be, wouldn't it? Anita, you're an idiot. So I'm just going to unpick that side. Which won't take me very long. And that will teach me not to iron it first, won't it? Okay, so bring that back to there. I think that's where I started to go a bit wrong. Okay. Put that back under there, Anita. Alright. I wonder if I can just do that where the zip is. Ooh, it's going to be... I'm going to walk this over here. That's it. It may be that I've already stretched this beyond being able to use it, which means I've got to take the whole thing out and start again, which I don't want to do. So we're going for a repair job. Sure how that got stuck then for some reason. It's not the best, but we have a zip in. Where are we? Oh, that's my hand in the way. There we go, we have a zip in. Okay, and then all we need to do is to go around the whole thing, and you have to remember you need your zip open, because if you haven't got your zip open you won't be able to put your stuff in him. So start at one. Oh, the needle's come unthreaded. What's going on tonight? Let's get that in there. Okay, right, so starting here, and because we have got our seams open, I press them back like that. I'm going back to my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and away we go. And if you start too near the edge like I just did, oh Anita. I didn't swear, hope you're pleased. That's it. Bring your corners to your corners. You've seen me making cushions before, I'm sure. Leave your needle down when you're turning a corner. That applies to all corners. hookers, which is the last one, because don't forget we've got a zip there, so we don't have to stitch that corner. Pick the needles up. Okay, so here we have it. We've stitched all around it. We've got our zip in. All we now need to do is turn it through. Make sure you poke your corners through so that you've got lovely, nice, neat corners. Don't be tempted to use scissors or anything like that. There are some things that you can buy for turning that have nice sticks and edges through to them. Just neaten that off. Okay. And then if I take, not that one. Oh, so not that one. I thought I had a cushion pad in here, but it doesn't look like I have. So, but I'm going to lift this up so that you can see our lovely cushion with our beautiful fabric. See that? I haven't got a cushion, any more cushion pads, so I was going to nick one out of that cushion that I was just sitting on. But unfortunately, that one's been sealed. I haven't got a zip in this one. I don't think that's going to fit in there with the best will in the world. Oh, I know what I've got, some stuffing. We'll pretend it's a cushion pad and we'll stuff it in so that you can actually see what it will look like. And then I'll take it out afterwards and go and buy a proper cushion pad. And there we have, where's that camera gone? We need to, one of these days you'll learn how to use it. However, today is not the day by the looks of things. There we go. One cushion, not very well stuffed, and I do apologise, but here's some of the detail of the beautiful fabric. It's the fairies. They're very glittery, these fairies. Okay, with a zip in the bottom. I will be making some of these a lot better than this, I might add. It is really pretty fabric, Sandra. Very pretty. I love it. Now I'm going to take this camera off here. She says hopefully if she can remember how it undoes. Because I just want to show you something else. So, don't know how much wire I've got. Do you see in the background here? Oh, it's moved again. We are setting up the studio for Open Studios, which we're going to be open on Friday, Saturday and Sunday of this week, Friday, Saturday and Sunday of next week. We haven't finished setting it up yet, so please be patient with us. But if you can come to Open Studios, you'll be made very, very welcome. Indeed. Now you're looking at what? When really you want to be looking at the beautiful fabric and our cushion that we've just made. Not the best in the world, but you know, needs stuffing properly really. So Open Studios is running at the moment all over Norfolk at the moment. There's lots and lots of people involved, lots of studios are involved in it as well. So if you get to go out and about, if you've got some petrol or diesel of course, it would be lovely to see you. There are many artists, not just textile artists, but many artists will be having their studios open, well, waiting to welcome you. So if you get the chance, do go around and have a look. And here at Ubrink Studio we have an exhibition for progression in textiles, which as I say will be open Friday, Saturday and Sunday of this week, and Friday, Saturday and Sunday of next week. If you want to come in during the week, if you just give me a ring on 01553 611 009 and make an appointment, and I'll make sure somebody's here if it's not me, so that you can come and have a look around. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for being patient with me, but I did want you to see these lovely new fabrics that I've got, which are in my shop, EBS Retail, if you're interested. Thank you once again,